Hey everybody, my name is Adam and welcome back to Almost Sideways, a place for movie conversation. The conversation just doesn't end here on YouTube. It also is an audio podcast hosted by Terry, Zach, Todd, and I also drop some audio stuff there as well. We're streaming on Spotify, Pandora, Stitcher, and Apple. The links to our podcast are in the description box down below, so make sure you check us out there. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the worst films of 2020. And this year has been incredibly disappointing, I feel like. On a personal level, very positive for me and my wife and my family. But overall, for going to the theater, didn't really go too much this year because of everything that's happened. But we're going to be talking about the top 10 worst films that, in my head, were my least favorite experiences watching this year. Let me know your worst films in the comments section down below. Let's have a good conversation down there in the comments section. And also, if you're thinking you want to hear more from me, make sure you hit that subscribe button today and join the conversation. All right, so some rule of thumb here. There's a lot of films I didn't watch that were bad because I just didn't want to. That Netflix film called Cuties, no interest. Not going to see that from me or played in my household whatsoever. There's a couple other films that I'm drawing a blank because I know they're horrible. And they're probably not going to be on my list. You're like, hey, where's that film? Didn't watch it. War with Grandpa. I think that's one I didn't watch that I could think of. There's a couple other ones I'm drawing a blank on. So anyway, we're going to move on. Time for some honorable mentions on my list. I'm going to go with My Spy, which is an Amazon film starring Dave Bautista. I really wanted more from that film. Found myself really disappointed by it. The Main Event, which is a Netflix movie. I'm a big wrestling fan, and I just felt it wasn't for me, so I'm not going to really like that movie as well. Hulu's Happiest Season, which is a Christmas film that came out. We did a review for it. You check that out right there. Wasn't a big fan of that film either. And I'm also going to throw in Underwater. I had one of the earlier 2020 films I kind of was intrigued by, but didn't find myself enjoying it too much. However, number 10 on my list, this is a tough one to make. I'm going to go with Super Intelligence, which is streamed on HBO Max, starring Melissa McCarthy. And it's directed by her husband once again. And those team-up movies don't seem to work that much anymore. This is not as worse. This film is not as bad as Tammy, but I needed a number 10 pick. I'm going with Super Intelligence here because it is kind of silly. It's kind of dumb. And it's Melissa McCarthy trying to be funny. And I got some laughs out of it, but overall, just a kind of a waste of a film. The plot's really stupid. The world's ending and your cell phones aren't working, but you're going to hop on a plane to go to a different country. I thought that was really unbelievable. In there, Joey Manganiello, who's I totally butchered your name. I apologize, but he's kind of wasted in this film. James Gordon shows up here. Interesting premise, but just a letdown for me. Number 9 on my list is another HBO Max film. This one is directed by Robert Zemeckis, called The Witches. Wow, what a disappointment this one was. For the first time this year, I watched the original Angelica Houston Witches film, and that's a fantastic, fun watch. And I was kind of intrigued because Anne Hathaway's in this performance. I thought she could do a lot with it, and she's having fun. I'm not really intrigued. The CGI is really bad, and a lot of the story beats are familiar but different and not done good. It's just a shell of the original film. And even though I kind of wanted the original film to go the direction where he stays a mouse, this one does do it, and I was just like, oh God, why did I wish this upon this movie? And just found myself really kind of bored and just like frustrated that we were watching this one. The CGI is kind of really bad, and I just wanted to watch the original again because that one is fantastic. Number 8 on my list is a film that I kind of was interested in by the poster, and that is Come to Daddy. Directed by Ann Timpson, starring Elijah Wood. I thought the premise kind of looked interesting, where he goes and sees his estranged dad, and he just kind of remember him too much, and it becomes in this kidnapping case where his dad actually had a heist of some kind with his buddies, and his buddies are trying to find out where the money is, and it's kind of interesting characters, and Elijah Wood's kind of like frantic in this movie, and it's weird, but it's just all over the place for me, and it's very strange, and I find myself just like not really caring about the film all too much, and I wanted to see something different than this. Elijah Wood's performance alone just makes me not want to put up any higher, because he is kind of interesting in the movie, but overall the movie is just kind of a slog to get through, and not much really happens. And there's a lot of they try to do some crazy things, but the payoffs are really bad. Number 7 on my list is Like a Boss. Like a Boss. Direct earlier in the year, starring Tiffany Haddish and Rose Byrne, and Salma Hayek shows up here too. I'm a big fan of all 3 of these actresses. However, for me, this is a movie, for my personal taste, I wasn't a huge fan of. The jokes, for me, comedy wasn't hitting as much. And Tiffany Haddish, I just want to see more of her comedies. I really obviously enjoyed her in Girls Trip, and I think Rose Byrne is a very talented actress. And Salma Hayek's, it's Salma Hayek. You got to watch her and everything. For whatever reason, I guess the source material just kind of let these actresses down, and I just found myself kind of cringing at some of the jokes and some of the plots. It was interesting to see more of the makeup business and the rivalries there, because low-key, I watched a bunch of makeup tutorial videos with my wife on YouTube, and I'm kind of fascinated by that kind of world, and that not to be a makeup YouTuber, but just to see kind of their drama stories. I think that's always fun for me to watch. Coming in number 6 is a film called Buddy Games, directed by Josh Duhamel. To be honest with you, if I'm being honest, I only got through half of this movie, and that's why it's probably not even higher or lower. I'm putting it about half of my list, because that's where I got to. And another comedy, didn't hit. The direction is kind of interesting first time director choice for this Josh Duhamel. I've enjoyed him as an actor, but this one he's directing, and it nothing new, nothing exciting for the camera. And Buddy Games is a bunch of guys going up doing crazy things, trying to have gross out humor, and it's cringy. Again, for me, I only got half minutes. Who knows? I might go watch the rest of it, and it might be a lot better. But for now, I'm going to keep it at number 6. Number 5, another Netflix movie. Got a couple Netflix movies coming up on my list. This is Hubie Halloween, starring Adam Sandler. Is this his worst Netflix film? I don't think so. I think there's some heart that Adam Sandler brings to this role. But he did tell you, he didn't get nominated for Uncut Gems at the Oscars last year. He's going to make a bad Netflix movie. He told you right out. And I think that Adam Sandler is a fantastic actor. We've seen this in a lot of his roles, but I don't think seeing a kind of a grown man making fart, poop, and vomit jokes for whatever 90 minutes to 2 hours is funny or good comedy for me anymore. I might have liked it when I was younger, and maybe when he was doing like The Water Boy or Big Daddy or something like that. But for now, seeing this, I feel bad for the guy. Uncut Gems is fantastic. It definitely made me want to watch that movie again. So I might go watch Uncut Gems again. But Hubie Halloween is number 5 on my list. Number 4, another Netflix film. And this is another funny actor playing this film. This movie is called Coffee and Kareem, directed by Mike Dowse. This film stars Ed Helms. And I've enjoyed Ed Helms. His humor is not for everyone. I did like him a lot in The Office. And Vacation. It's Vacation. It's not really that good. But Ed Helms in this film, this one was really hard to get through. I watched the whole thing, and again, I felt awkward for this adult trying to dating this kid's mom and trying to win over this friendship. I thought this kid was like foul mouthed for like some reason, I guess, and I just the comedy didn't hit for me, and I think that's the key with some of these comedies. Maybe comedies are just I'm not a huge fan, I guess. Who knows? There's been some good comedies, but these ones I clearly know are bad, and when the comedy doesn't hit, the comedy doesn't hit. They're trying to have some cool action set pieces here. They are kind of just over-edited, not really done well, and I guess Ed Helms just comes across as annoying and desperate in this movie for whatever reason. So number 4 is Coffee and Kareem, another Netflix film, guys. And that is The Holiday. It is another film that I actually was able to get a screener from Netflix, which I'm thankful for. However, Emma Roberts deserves so much better. Have you guys not seen Nerve and a bunch of the other movies that she's done? She's a fantastic actress. She was in We Are the Millers, even Scream. She's appears in The Hunt this year as well. But The Holiday, it takes a premise of this couple, or this guy and this girl, and they want to, every holiday just be kind of like the person they just go on a date so they don't feel pressure to bring another person around the family or whatever. Interesting premise, and they mainly focus on Christmas. However, Christmas hardly appears in this movie. I don't know what I was expecting in this movie. But I know that what I got was what I didn't want. I just wanted Emma Roberts to be my better stuff. And Luke Bracey, who plays the guy in this movie, I just felt like it was discounted Liam Hemsworth. He had kind of an Australian accent. He was ripped, but it wasn't the guy that they actually wanted to get for this movie. And it showed. It was just something that I wanted to see more of. I think there's an interesting premise here, but I think I've also seen this film a time or two. Number 2 on my list is a film from Hulu called Crawlers. It's a St. Patrick's Day horror film. Another one. I didn't know this, but this is in their Into Dark series, I guess, and maybe that doesn't qualify for a movie, but it is sitting at 81 minutes, so I'm counting it as kind of a movie for this list. It was something that the kills were interesting. The trailer was a lot better than this movie. This trailer is probably, mid-50s out of the 100 movies I've seen this year alone. But for me, Crawlers was it was another thing that I wanted to see cool St. Paddy's Day horror film on St. Patrick's Day and get kind of that Irishy type of feel. But it was kind of an alien abduction movie that really had no frights, no scares, just really unlikable characters. And that's what I don't really like in horror films. Those kind of films do exist that are enjoyable. This is not it. And I kind of want them to make another if there is another movie around St. Patrick's Day that it does this film a lot better, let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to watch it and report back. So, Crawlers for me just falls to the bottom of the list. But the worst film of the year for me is a Disney Plus film, and you see a lot of different streaming services. This movie was supposed to come out a couple years ago, got pushed back, pandemic happened, put onto Disney Plus, and that is Artemis Fowl. Didn't read the books growing up, but I hear great things about them. Does this movie make me want to read those books? Absolutely not. This movie, I didn't. The kid actor comes across as smug, cocky. Maybe that's how his character is, but I just found him kind of unwatchable in a way. Was intrigued by him. I didn't care about him. I kind of was like, I want the special effects. Also, another thing I didn't really care about watching. The poster is fantastic. That poster is one of the top 10 posters of the year. But this movie is definitely bottom of the barrel for me. Probably worst movies overall. And I know some of the movies, like I'm going to get comments in the comment section. One of them I actually have seen, and we'll talk about that in the comments section. But Artemis Fowl for me, bad action, bad acting, bad story, just overall, just poorly paced, edited film. I definitely understand why Disney put this on Disney Plus. Definitely not going to get a sequel, even though they probably set it up for one. But that's my ranking, guys. I know that my list isn't perfect. I know that there's a lot worse films in your guys' minds that didn't make my list. But those are the ones I saw. I try to stay away from some bad films this year. And heck, sometimes a film that gets a consensus bad, I kind of enjoy sometimes. So maybe that's why movies are on my list, because I love watching movies and I love talking about movies. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think are some of the worst films of 2020. Would love to have a good conversation with you down there. Until next time, thank you for watching. See you next time.